Hey all. So, first things first, the latest article in the paper. Have you read it? Okay, if not, there's a link in the description below. But we need to talk about it. Now, I've been doing more digging about the comic Gabriel. You know, the one that was pulled off the shelves? Yeah. And what I found, I talked about in that article, mostly. But now I want to talk to you about why it is important. So, the War in Heaven, an ancient battle talked about in the Book of Revelations and made famous by Milton in his Paradise Lost. You know that tale. The devil rebelled against God and then was kicked out of heaven. Who doesn't know the story? Everyone does. Well, most people do. But for anyone that doesn't, here is the abridged version from the Revelations. Then war broke out in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragons. The dragon and his angels fought back. But he was not strong enough. Okay, they lost their place in heaven. The great dragon was hurled down. The ancient serpent called the devil, or Satan, who leads the whole world astray, he was hurled to earth and his angels with him. Dramatic, right? Bollocks is what it is. Now, I know that might upset some of you, okay? But the truth is, the war in heaven happened in a completely different way. For starters, it wasn't much of a war at all. It was a slaughter. The actual sequence of events can be found in the book of Joshua, in the Hebrew Bible, not the New Testament, which came much later. There is a link to all this below, by the way. The version in the Hebrew Bible is much less exciting, though. It talks about the very real conflict, the conquest of the Canaanites. That, my friends, is the real war in heaven. Check this out. This is another page from the comic. It shows a big tree on fire with a guy standing in front of it. Under normal circumstances, it would be quite daft. But you should know by now that there is nothing normal about any of these circumstances. The bloke talking to the tree is the Archangel Gabriel, and the burning tree is the Yahweh, God of the Israelites. Now, they are having a very serious conversation about a promise Yahweh made to his people. The promise was that the land of Canaan would belong to the Israelites, and it was high time that he delivered on that promise. This unfortunately meant that the people already living there had to go. So, hence the slaughter of the Canaanites, which is a far more apt name for this event. Now, wiping out the Canaanites was no small task, because they were protected by their own gods, powerful gods, which include Baal, Asherah, and my personal favourite, El, the ruler of the Canaanite gods. The only possible way to conquer the land of Canaan was by first eliminating these guys. That mission fell to Yahweh's trusty second in command, the Archangel Michael. His job was to wipe out the enemy gods, while Yahweh's human general, Joshua, dealt with the very human resistance on the ground. As above, so below. And that, guys, is what has been misconstrued over the centuries as the war in heaven. That is where the lie is. Again, this was a slaughter, not a war. Genocide, if I'm being honest about it. It has set the stage for almost everything, and I mean everything, that has happened in history all the way up to this moment right here, with me talking to you. This event and what happened after it are all covered in the comic Gabriel, which you can probably begin to see why it was removed from the stores. It not only talks about the Morrigan's prophecy, which I explored in my last video, but how it's connected to the slaughter of the Canaanites all the way over in the Near East, and that's just the beginning. Gabriel hints at a much larger world, where many other events happening across the globe are all occurring at the same time, all intertwined somehow. All these events, these cultures, these religions, traditions, they are all tied together, all telling one giant story. All living in, well, the same shared universe. Anyway, be sure to drop a like if you like it, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss anything. I'm pretty sure over the next few weeks we're going to reveal some crazy stuff. Till next time, guys, let's keep digging.